Welcome back to the channel, and I just have one thing to say. What you're about to witness in this vlog is something I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. Stay tuned till the end to see the total damage. For this vlog, we head out to Capital Casino in the heart of Sacramento to battle it out in the 1-3 match stack streets, and we buy in for our usual $500 stack to get things started. In our literal first hand of the day, we pick up the best hand in poker, which is none other than the Bullets pocket aces. There's one limp in early position, and I raise these monsters up to $15. Only the limper calls, so with $30 in the middle, the flop comes out Queen 6-5 Rainbow. I don't know what this player's limping range is, but this seems like a pretty safe board for aces, so after he checks, I throw out a value bet of $17. He quickly puts in the call, so we go to a turn, which comes out the King of Clubs, putting up a backdoor flush draw. I'm honestly not a fan of this card because it could kill my action against a hand like Queen 10, but at the same time, I should still have the best hand. I need to charge the obvious straight draw of 7-8 and any other backdoor bullshit he could have, so I throw out a value bet of $30. He calls once again, so with $124 in the middle, the river comes out the 9 of Clubs, completing 7-8 for the straight and bringing in the backdoor flush. He checks to me for a third time, and I honestly debated checking back. I thought at the time there was merit to finding a thin value bet against all his Queen X holdings, so I decide on just a 1/3 size bet of $40. Our opponent goes in a mini tank and starts acting like he has a tough decision, but ends up check raising to $160. A river check raise is the most underbluff move in all of poker, and I've seen better acting from Pauly Shore in a 90s movie compared to this guy.
No, you can't do this. You can't do this. Hank and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice.
No, we sing the juice.
So I put in the easy fold, and our opponent never shows, and our pocket aces go up in flames. In this next hand, the hijack, button, and small blind limp, and I look down at 2 suited broadways and Queen Jack of Hearts from the big blind and decide it's good enough to bloat the pot up and raise it to $25. Only the hijack and button put in the call, so with $75 in the middle, the flop comes out King 9-3 Rainbow with 1 heart. This board should absolutely crush my ISO raise from the big blind, so I decide to throw out a 1/3 size bet of $25 with my gut shot and backdoor flush draw. Surprisingly, both players put in the call. The pot size is doubled to $150, and with 3 players still in the pot, we see the miraculous 10 of diamonds giving us the nuts but putting up a backdoor flush draw. The hijack player has about $300 remaining in his stack, and the button only has 19. So I decide on a 60% sizing of $90 to leave about 2/3 size bet to jam on the river if the hijack calls. When I throw out the chips, he wastes no time before putting in the money, and the button puts in his remaining $19. There's over $200 in the main pot and $140 in the side, so there's not a card in the deck that I'm afraid of at this point because there's no way I'm getting away from this hand. Luckily, when the river comes out the 2 of spades, it ensures that we maintain the nuts, so I jam all in, but the hijack snap folds. He must have had a diamond draw or a hand like Queen 10 or Jack 10. We turn over our hand, but the button surprisingly turns over Queen Jack as well, and we end up chopping the main. Chopping pots suck, but at least we win the side pot. We have yet to win a pot outright after 2 hours of playing, but at least our stack is floating around the even mark, so I can't complain too much. We just had a dealer change, so that means it's time for a local famous Capital Casino bomb pot. 6 people throw out the $15, so there's $85 in the pot, and I look down at the problematic ace-king offsuit. In a bomb pot, you go straight to a flop, and we get an amazing one of ace-8 deuce rainbow, giving us top pair, top kicker. Middle position player bets just $16, and now one of the staples of the morning game jams his remaining stack of $99. The action is back on me, and I know what you guys are thinking. Just call and move on, you idiot. But I decided to take my time with this one. I have some history with this player, and my gut was telling me that I was beat. I just didn't see him jamming a hand like ace-jack or worse, so he either has ace-8, ace-deuce, or maybe ace-queen or ace-king. So given that, I decided to make an exploitable fold, which you all hate when I do, and the middle position player who bet 16 also folds. The player who jammed is a friend of the vlog, and he shows us ace-deuce offsuit for 2 pair, and we finally get proof of one of these folds being the right decision.
In the appropriate, you are in the garden. You might as well take a bow.
Ace-deuce, fuck it. You have me? Even though we made the right decision, I was still getting tilted because nothing was going our way. So I reach in the wallet and add an extra $500 to the stack, making me into the game for $1,000 total. After a few orbits go by, we're down a couple $100 until we get another dealer change, which means bomb pot time. 8 people throw in the $15, so there's $115 in the middle, and we get dealt 9-8 offsuit. We go straight to a flop, which comes out 9-7-3 rainbow, and we have a shitty top pair against 7 other people. The action gets checked to the cutoff, who decides to throw out just a $25 bet. It felt pretty weak, but I just don't see a point in raising since I have a shitty kicker, so I just stick in the call. The small blind and button also stick in the call, so just like that, we have a $215 pot brewing, and the turn comes out the 9 of hearts, giving us trips. Everyone decides to check to me, and I don't think there's a point in betting big here, so I just throw out $75. The action gets folded back to the cutoff, who goes all in for about $140. I'm obviously never folding for this price, so I snap call, and the dealer puts out the 2 of spades river. Our opponent turns over 7-6 offsuit, and that's no good against our trips. We finally win a pot outright after playing for 3 hours. In the next 30 minutes, a few of the action players got up, and the table just wasn't what it used to be, so I requested a table change and get moved to an action-packed table. In our first hand at the new table, the under the gun player opens to just $6, next to act calls, and now an action player in the cutoff raises to just 15. I'm in the big blind and look down at the bullets, pocket aces, and put in the technical 4-bet to $60. Only the action player puts in the call, and I've never played with him before, but he seems like a pure calling station that likes to push the action from the few hands I've seen. So keeping that in mind, we go straight to a flop of queen 8 deuce with 2 diamonds, and I start off with a value bet of $70. Our opponent wastes no time before putting in the raise to $170. At this point, I'm putting him on top pair, trying to see where he's at, a flush draw, or pocket 8s or pocket deuces. So with no diamond in my hand, I'm blocking the nut flush draw. I obviously stick in the call. The pot has now ballooned to $470, and I have about $750 remaining in my stack. So we go to a turn praying for a clean card, but that's not what we get when the 3 of diamonds comes on the turn, completing the front door flush. I check it over to our opponent, and he wastes no time before going all in for $750 effective. This was the last thing I was expecting, so I go into the tank for a bit, just trying to dissect what he could possibly have. The value hands he could have is pocket 8s and pocket deuces, any flush in the world for how wide he plays, and against those hands, I'm either drawing dead or have 2 outs. One of the value hands I could see him doing this with is maybe ace-queen with the ace of diamonds and just totally spazzing out. As for his bluffs, I just don't see any once the front door flush got there. So once again, I decide to reluctantly fold the bullets, and our opponent never reveals his hand. Just a couple orbits later, we get dealt the bullets, pocket aces once again, and after losing the first 2 times, we all know that the 3rd time is a charm. The action gets folded to me in the hijack, and with the cutoff's dead $3 out there, I raise it up to $18. The cutoff puts in the call, and now the small blind decides that he doesn't think that's enough and 3-bets to $83. We're over $700 effective, so I think a 4-bet is in order, especially with a player in between us. So I waste no time before raising to $225, and after the cutoff folds, our opponent thinks for a bit and decides just to jam all in for over $700.
All I'm really thinking about is Vegas and the fucking Mirage.
I obviously snap call and turn over my hand like I always do when I'm all in. We have the best hand ever created in poker and one of the biggest pots I've ever played in. What an absolute dream spot. The flop comes out Jack 8 deuce rainbow, the turn is the 9 of hearts, and the river is the 10 of hearts, and our opponent turns over pocket jacks for flop top set, and once again, for a third time, our aces go down in flames.
So they make the move, and look at Ethiopia. Get it out, son.
Pocket aces and massive pots this month have just not been kind to us. At the start of the month, we got aces all in on the flop against pocket kings, and our opponent drilled the 2-outer on the river. I don't know what I did to piss off the poker gods, but I'm looking to change that soon. At this point, we only had about 40 minutes remaining before 2 o'clock hit, so I should have just got up and leave and call it a $1,000 loss, but I had $500 left in our $1,500 clip, so I added those chips on the table to try and win some small pots and limit the damage. Unfortunately, we missed every flop after that and just couldn't turn the nightmare session around. Let's get to the mid-vlog outro. Well, that obviously sucked. But in the end, what can you really do? This is the sick game we signed up for. As for results, we unloaded the clip completely. We were into the game for $1,500 and out for only $377 for our biggest loss ever of $1,123. Sucks to even say. I just want to take a quick second to let y'all know that I created an Instagram account where I'll be posting some new content in the future. I also created a Discord channel strictly for my community. It'll be a place where you could ask me poker or life-related questions at any time, and I'll even have a hand history forum where we could go over hands and get better together. The links are in the description, and I would love to have your guys' support for this. Let's get back to the vlog. We took Wednesday off from playing, but we're back on Thursday looking for some vengeance. We obviously bought in for our usual $500 stack, and in our first playable hand of the day, we pick up none other than, you guessed it, the bullets, pocket aces. There's 4 limps to me, and I raised the price of poker to $25. I didn't have a feel for the table yet, so I thought I could clear it up to 2 to 3 people, but boy was I wrong. 5 people put in the call one by one, so we're just going 6 ways to a flop with $150 already in the middle. The dealer throws out a 10-4 deuce 2-heart board, and we have ourselves an overpair on a very nice looking board. There shouldn't be any 2 pairs represented, so when they all check to me, I throw out a value bet of $80. I clear up the field a little bit because just 3 people put in the call, and I can see a ton of 10x holdings being in there, and definitely all the flush draws. The good news is that I didn't get raised on the flop, so I doubt anyone has a set because this board is just too scary to slow play. So I'm 99% sure that I have the best hand, and there's already $470 in the middle, and I have about $350 remaining in my stack. So if the turn comes out any card other than a heart or 10, I'm going with it and going all in. The dealer burns and turns and throws out the jack of diamonds, putting 2 flush draws on the board. The small blind now takes matters into his own hands and jams his remaining stack of $234. Now an early position player calls his remaining stack of $150. I definitely didn't see that coming, and now I'm in a little pickle. Like I said earlier, I don't think sets should ever be represented because no one raised on the flop, so I think the only hand that I'm losing to right now is Jack 10 suited. However, these particular players splash around a lot and play a lot of suited stuff, so there's a ton of combo draws out there like 8-9 of hearts, 8-9 of diamonds, Jack X of hearts, 10x of diamonds. You get the picture. I only lose to 2 Jack 10 suited holdings, spades and clubs, so for that reason, I decided to put in the money since I'm getting a pretty good price to do so. So with over $1,000 in the middle, we go to a river, which comes out the 10 of clubs. Our opponent in the small blind turns over Jack 10 of spades for the turn 2 pair rivered full house, and pocket aces go down in flames for a 4th time this vlog.
bitch.
Thought I was gonna call? No.
I had an open-ended in the
Exactly. It was all a setup.
We had on $500 after getting our aces cracked once again, and we're now into the game for $1,000 even. In this next hand, 4 people limped to me, and once again, I looked down at none other than the Bullets, pocket aces, and raised them up to $25 in the cutoff. Only 4 people put in the call this time, so we're going 5 ways to a flop with $125 in the middle, and the dealer throws out a 9-7-3 rainbow board. When the action gets checked to me, I think I almost always have the best hand on such a dry board, so I decided to throw out a value bet of $45 looking to keep these guys in with small pairs. Just 3 people make the call this time, so the pot has already ballooned to $315, and the turn comes out the king of clubs putting a backdoor flush on the board. They all check to me again, and I don't think this king should ever help our opponent's hands, so I think I need to keep betting for value to charge any straight or pair plus flush draws that these guys can have. I decide on a sizing of $115, not looking to scare anyone away, but now the small blind, who is an action player, jams all in and has me covered. The action gets folded back to me, and I have to call $285 to win a pot of $1,000 if I put in the chips. If you guys have watched my videos before, you know that I'm all about making exploitative folds, especially against turn check raises, but call it tilt, call it disbelief, or call it whatever the hell you want, but I was just in no mood to fold. I convinced myself that he could be doing this with a hand like 4-5 of clubs, 10-8 of clubs, or even Jack-10 of clubs. You get the picture. So I reluctantly call, and when the river comes out the 2 of hearts, our opponent wastes no time before turning over pocket 9s for the flop top set. And for the 5th time in 2 days, pocket aces get absolutely destroyed.
Hey, young man, you got knocked the fuck out.
If I was on top of my game, I could have found the fold in that spot, but I was just in utter disbelief that my hand wasn't good there. After another aces debacle, I once again unloaded the clip completely and added $500, making me into the game for $1,500 total. We moved seats for a vibe change and a better view for the vlog, but nothing exciting happened for the next couple hours. We picked up pocket queens and got no action, and we hit top pair with ace king and also got no action. After that, it was just death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, I don't even know what to say after this week. I guess I just gotta laugh it off. For our day 2 results, we were into the game for $1,500 and only out for $347 for our new biggest loss ever of $1,153. Wish this just wasn't true. We are currently on a $2,818 downswing, but I guess that's what I signed up for after moving up from 1-2. Just gotta learn from my mistakes and keep getting better. I also wouldn't mind a little run good from the poker gods. Just saying. Thanks for sticking till the end and watching me suffer. And as always, I hope you run good at the tables, and I'd appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button to help me reach my new year-end goal of 5,000 subscribers. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to join my Discord or hit me up on Instagram.